So, hi, my name's Terence. You might have been watching my other videos about walking in Japan, but today I'm going to be doing a talking video. And I wanted to start with a topic that's very near and dear to my heart as I've been living and working here in Japan, which is working at an Eikaiwa. So today I'm going to be asking the question, should you be working at an Eikaiwa in Japan in 2024? Okay, so let's start. Today's video I'm going to be doing in 5 parts. We're going to have like an intro, we're going to talk about location, students and pay, and then we're going to have a little conclusion at the end. So if you clicked on this video, you're probably already in the know about what an Eikaiwa is. But if you're not, here's a brief little rundown. An Eikaiwa basically is an English conversation school. Eikaiwa itself literally means the EI part is English, and Kaiwa is the Japanese for conversation. So it's literally an English conversation school, and at this school students can pay considerable amounts of money to come and talk to native English speakers, such as myself. You might not know this from my accent, but I am a native English speaker. And so in the Eikaiwas, it's more geared towards kind of like grammar points, and the lessons themselves are the kind of more conversational in nature than say like a high school or an elementary school where they are kind of like doing rote learning or such. And so that kind of attracts students who are motivated. It can be really helpful in that sense. So that's briefly what an Eikaiwa is. But now let's talk about locations. So if you are watching this video, then no doubt you are interested in working at or working in Japan. And Eikaiwas are the easiest places to go work in Japan. It's very easy to get a visa. The Eikaiwas are always hiring, COVID period aside. So it's very easy. It's the easiest way to get into Japan. Does that mean it's the best way to get into Japan? Well, that's up to you. But when I'm talking about location here, I'm talking about where will you be placed in Japan. So if you come in as an ALT, that is, you're working with as an assistant language teacher in a school, either through like the Japanese Board of Education or through some kind of program like the JET program, then you're probably going to be based in the countryside. Eikaiwas are a little different. Because they are a business, you will be placed inside a city most likely. Now that's not to say it will be a big city. I myself live in Gifu City, which is by Japanese standards a moderately sized city, only about 500,000 people living here. But you're not going to be in the countryside. You're not going to be in like the middle of nowhere most of the time. That's not to say that there are cases where you will be in the middle of nowhere, but by and large you're going to be in the large population centers because that's where the money is, and Eikaiwas are primarily a business. So when you apply to an Eikaiwa, it doesn't matter which one you apply to, whether it's one like the super big ones like Eon, ECC, Nova, I apologize if I'm missing anything out. They will always ask you, where do you want to be placed and why do you want to be placed there? So, and they make it seem like they consider your thoughts and opinions on that reason. They don't. It's just, they do not. To be fair, the people who do the interviews and the people who do the presentations to tell you about like this information, they are upfront with you about it. They will tell you it's not likely, but realistically it's not likely is 7 rungs above the actual probability of it happening in the first place. You may get Tokyo, but it's not likely. It's extremely unlikely, even though Tokyo has arguably the biggest number of people interested in learning English, but that's a by the by. So for example, for myself, I'm from the UK, if you can't tell by my accent, and I'm from the north of the UK, or at least like the middle of the UK, the north of England, the middle of the UK, and I don't like hot weather, so I asked to be placed somewhere cool. I had like 3 choices on my application form as to where I wanted to go. I said Sapporo, Aomori, and Sendai. If you know these places, you know that these are the kind of the moderate the temperate places. These are the cold places. I got placed in Gifu, which is swelteringly hot, especially in summertime. All of Japan is hot in summertime, but Gifu especially so. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind when you're applying to an Eikaiwa. If your heart is absolutely 100% set on a city, on a location, you want to go to Tokyo, you want to go to Osaka, the chances are you're not going to get those places, and you might be placed very, very far away from them. Something to think about. The second thing I want to talk about, the second part of this, is the students themselves. So, who would you be teaching at an Eikaiwa? So, that's a kind of difficult question, because it's kind of like how long is a piece of string? But in theory, anyone can sign up for an Eikaiwa. I myself have taught students ranging in age from 8 months old to 96 years old, and like every age in between, essentially. That's the majority of students that you teach will probably be kids. Again, this is like, I'm talking about myself here. I primarily teach adults. Like I would say my percentage of lessons is about something like 70% adults, 30% children. But I know other instructors who have like the reverse, or even like highest, like 80% children, 20% adults, right? So the answer varies based on where you are, the needs of the school, like and the days that you work. Some days, like Saturdays and Sundays, primarily have more children's lessons because the parents can take them to and from class. Throughout the week as well, you will actually have also kids lessons because of like after school clubs and so on. But yes, so who will you be teaching? You'll be teaching everyone. You'll be teaching everyone from, like I say, little babies, like 9-month-old babies, to grizzled old businessmen, to kind of like tired high school kids who are like in the middle of exams. You'll be teaching everyone, and like personally, I prefer teaching adults, like far and away. Like I'm terrible at teaching children, so that's like just like me, like right off the bat saying. I think the children enjoy my lessons, but they don't necessarily learn English, which is, you know, it's just kind of neither here nor there, I guess. But it's yeah, the one that I think it will vary on will be where you are based. Like if you are kind of in like the more countryside type of areas, you know, I said that you don't really have schools in the countryside. If you are on, like, say, in the suburbs or such, then it's primarily going to be kids. It's mostly going to be kids. If you're in like the center of the city, it's probably going to be housewives. During the daytime, it'll be housewives who are kind of like well, got nothing to do because like their husbands are at work and they finished all like the kind of day-to-day tasks. That's becoming increasingly rare, actually, as Japan becomes more of a free society, I guess. That's the wrong word to say. More of an equal society. Or retirees or so on, but also lots of business people. Many business people will be coming to the lessons to learn English. Usually after work, or in some cases, I've had more than a few students who, will be at work, come to the school, and then go back to work after the lesson. So, you very motivated people, you know. That's one of the reasons why I really like the adult learners. Are, by and large, they are motivated. They're curious about the language. They want to know how to speak English, so they are invested in it, quite literally. So next, I wanted to talk about pay, because I've seen a lot of stories in kind of like the review websites, like the likes of Glassdoor and such, where people come onto those websites and they say that the pay is very, very low, that it's not livable, that it's you won't be able to do anything or go anywhere or see anything or do anything. And I can kind of see where that's coming from, but I think there's a big kind of thing to kind of challenge that opinion, which is, I think a lot of those people who are saying those kind of things have zero idea of what they are actually coming to Japan to do. They don't realize that the work itself is actually a job. It's like kind of they are expecting to like go to Tokyo every weekend, to go to these like far-flung places every weekend, like go on like the touristy type places, basically to have a holiday every weekend. If your expectation is to do that, then yeah, the pay is not going to be enough. But then most jobs, in fact every job, would not be enough, because it is expensive to travel in Japan to an extent. If you are thinking of traveling like say once a month, so like say for example you want to go, so for me, I live in Gifu, and it's possible for me to travel to Tokyo once a month. It's possible for me to, if you've been watching like my other videos, I've been doing a lot of traveling in like the last month and a half, and it's easy. It's a lot easier once you get a car. I currently do not have a car, but it is possible. I've been to, in the past 2 months, in the past 2 months, I've been to Kyoto, I've been to Osaka, I've been to Tokyo, Osaka, I've been to Nagano, I've been to these places. It is possible, but it needs to be kind of budgeted. It's not going to be kind of like I'm not doing touristy things when I'm there. I'm just walking around the place taking videos, I'm just exploring nature and such. It's definitely possible, but it kind of has to be kind of realistic. And I think a lot of the people who say like the pay is really, really poor are not being realistic. If you are interested in coming to Japan because you just want to kind of like a job that's like interesting or different, then yeah, the Japanese, the Eikaiwa pay is going to be enough, more than enough. It just means that you're not going to be able to go out like partying every weekend. It's a job, it's not a vacation, essentially. Having said that, the pay itself has another kind of issue, which is that right now the Japanese yen is very, very weak. So if you have any kind of debt in your home country, so you're paying off, student loans, or you're paying off credit card debt or so on in your home country, the exchange rate being what it is, I don't know in dollars what it is right now, but in pounds, UK pounds to Japanese yen, it's something like 190-ish yen to £1, which is, when I first came to Japan, it was at like 140 yen to £1, so quite an increase, So paying off that debt, sending money back home to the UK is a lot more expensive right now. Hopefully that changes in the near future, praying to God, right? But yeah, so that's kind of like the rundown of like the things that you should consider when you are applying to an Eikaiwa. Location, you're probably not going to be placed in your chosen location, in the location you want, but that might be a good thing. Being placed in somewhere where you are not expecting to be placed can be a challenge and can be fun to watch, can be fun to experience, I should say. The students, it's a real mixed bag. It's like some are going to be great, some are going to be not so great. Some of the experiences are going to be great, some are not going to be so great. But by and large, I would say like 95% of the students I've met, I've really enjoyed teaching. So, do that. And the pay, it's kind of, if you have a realistic expectation of how much you're going to be earning and what you can do with that money, then you're going to have enough. You're going to be able to enjoy time in Japan. Thank you very much for watching the video. Next week was going to be a walking video again. I didn't feel like going out today. I woke up very late and the weather outside was awful, and yeah, so that's why you get the talking video today. But I also plan on doing more of these talking videos. I am thinking of doing like a how-to series, like how to kind of like live in Japan, but that's for another time altogether. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a good week, everyone, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye.